everybody. Thank you so much for coming out here to Lynn's Uptown Tavern, Albany. You can clap if you want to. Thank you. So glad that I am actually able to do 2 lives in one day. I can't believe it. I went 2 days not being able to do any lives, and now I actually do 2 in a day. I appreciate it. Why in the world would I still be doing this? I am doing this for many important reasons. One thing that's really important for you to understand. From 2018, all the people who are running for governor, they're all gone. They ran, and they're gone. I ran, and I stayed. I had ideas and reasons to fix this state, to make things better, and I kept talking about them. I didn't stop. They've been on my website literally for 4 years, sitting there. And I would ask you, what candidate has decided, you know what, those are good ideas. Let me grab them and use them. None. Because their goal isn't to fix anything. It hasn't been. It wasn't then, and is it now? And you might say to yourself, well, Larry, maybe they think your ideas are bad. Maybe they don't like your ideas. Maybe, but then where are theirs? What I would ask you is, maybe they don't like my ideas, then why didn't they correct mine, or adjust mine, or shift mine? Anything. They didn't. Their goal isn't to fix anything. Their goal is to make sure you are scared, divided, asleep, and you only vote against something and not for anything. That's their goal. And sadly, it's working. It is. I wish it wasn't, but it is. People are just voting against the other. They're not voting for anything. They're not. You might go, well, Larry, I'm a Democrat, and I would like to keep the Democrats in charge because I'm afraid of Republicans. Okay, no worries. Let me ask you, the Democrats are going to fix this state. They've been in charge for 20 years. Wouldn't they have fixed it? Right? But Larry, I'm a Republican, and Democrats are ruining this state. We have to vote Republican so we can fix the state. Awesome, that's great. Where's your Republican plan? Nowhere. Republicans have been watching Democrats run this state for 20 years. You think by now they'd have a plan? When I ran 4 years ago, one thing I had was a plan. Lots of plans. Plans all over the place. It took me maybe 6 months to come up with plans for just about everything. Republicans have none. Democrats have none. I have plenty. And even now, 4 years from now, as most of my plans are the same, I've added more plans. I've made things more important. But here's the funniest part. Even when I wasn't running, I had a plan. When COVID struck this state in 2020, some of you remember this. I did 6 videos on my plans on how I would handle the COVID problem here in New York State. I put that up on my website. For those of you who care, it's at the Sharp Way. I'm on my website, my YouTube page, the Sharp Way YouTube page. There's a specific playlist that says, right on it, it says March 2020. Yep, it was over a year and a half ago. March 2020 COVID response. And I put down what I thought was the right answer to make this state work well. That's what I did. Who else did that? Nobody. I wasn't running for governor then. I just said, here are some more ideas how to fix the state. Now, in March of 2020, I didn't know what I know now. I knew what I knew then. So were my plans perfect? They were not. Were they better than what we did? Absolutely 100%, not even close. My plans, not knowing what I know now, my plans not being the governor, not even running for anything, were better than what we did in this state. Better. 100%, no doubt. I left it up there. So you now can go check them if you care. I talk about what to do and how to make things work. And I said that within 3 to 6 months, this state would have been rocking and rolling. You look back now, it would be. It would be. So that's why I'm doing this, because I actually care, because it does matter to me. And some of this is selfish, to be forward. Some of it is selfish. Some of it is. I don't want to move. And so many of you, and I would ask of all of you here, is there anyone here who does not know someone who has left New York State? Nobody. You all know someone who's left, right? That's embarrassing, isn't it? And that's the same in every single room I go to. Every room I go to. And I did over 300 events my last campaign, and I've done over 62 every single year since, because I've traveled to every single county since my campaign. And every room, same thing. That has to change. And I would ask you, who running for office besides someone like me has talked to you about people leaving the state? No one does. They don't. Our former Lord and Master, His Majesty, the former King Cuomo, he said, if you're a conservative, get out, right? He didn't care, get out. You're not voting for him, get out. And sadly, many people listened to him and they left. I wish they didn't, but I'm not mad at them for doing it. It's our fault for not having a better state. It's our fault for not having a better state. But we can make a better state. And we can make a better state, most importantly, by actually looking at problems and trying to fix them. Looking at problems and trying to fix them. That's the most important thing. And then trying to have innovative ideas. And I'm going to bring up my innovative idea now. It's from my last campaign, but it still works now. Anybody remember what I was talking about when it came to the Erie Canal? Remember that?
Hovercraft.
Hovercraft. You remember exactly right. Yes. What have we done since 2018 with the Erie Canal? Left it. Nothing. The Erie Canal costs us as taxpayers about $100 million every single year to take care of. We make in return less than $5 million. Now, you don't have to have a master's degree in mathematics to figure out that's a bad deal, right? Like, you know that's a bad deal whether you got a master's degree in mathematics or not, right? That's not a good deal. I spend $100 million, I get $5 million back. Not a good deal, right? That is government. That's correct. Yes. Because remember, whenever government does something wrong, its punishment is more money. I'm not joking. It didn't do well, so I guess we haven't funded enough. Here's more money, right? But what did I say? If you remember, I said there are about 3 dozen locks on the Erie Canal, give or take. We could actually sponsor each lock. There could be a Taco Bell lock, a McDonald's lock, a Burger King lock, and we actually sponsor each lock. They get to put their restaurant in that lock. They get to make a nice little tourist place. And with the money we bring in from that lock, we now begin to fix the entire Erie Canal. There's over 500 miles of the Erie Canal. It's long, long Erie Canal. You can fix the entire thing. And then we're going to put on it hovercraft. I'm not joking. When I was in the Marine Corps in the 80s, there were hovercraft that could take tanks across the ocean. You remember that? LCACs?
Okay.
LCACs, yes, they were LCACs. Yes, they could actually take tanks across the ocean. You tell me we can't do something cool now? Well, Larry, how do you do that? I don't know, and I don't care. That's why we have a bunch of universities in this state that would happily bring a bunch of people, kids here, to figure out how that works. Because once you do something like that, you might say, Larry, that's a small thing. You're right, that's a small thing. Our budget is about $215 billion. That $100 million is a small thing. That's true. But the idea that you could have something exciting happening in New York State, that you'd have to have young people come to this state to actually figure out how to make that happen, and to actually have somebody build the hovercraft, and have somebody rebuild all the locks, and maybe even dig out parts of the Erie Canal if that's required to put hovercraft on it. I don't know if it is not, but maybe you have to. Great. To figure out the logistics of that, and to now have people going up and down the Erie Canal in hovercraft. People would do it. Some of you remember. Go ahead.
Hovercrafts are good, but what about transportation?
I'm okay doing that too. But I'm talking about hovercraft so people want to get back on the Erie Canal. But if you think we can make it commercially viable, I'm in. Let's do that too. But here's what I'm sure. No one's going to try to move it commercially up and down until it works, until people are on it. It's got to work first. So we make it work with tourism. Our amazing governor, Governor Hochul, who, as you know, speaks to God, as she told us. I'm not joking. She said that. That's her. Not. I guess we should be happy that our governor speaks to God directly. So I guess we should be happy. Who she knows God's will. Luckily for us, Her Majesty is clearly divine. So she's decided that, she said openly today, she said, you know what? The tourist industry has to come back to New York State. She's right. She thinks the tourist industry took a hit about $60 billion. That's her guess, $60 billion. $60 billion? Didn't our last governor told us we only had a $5 billion deficit? Remember that? He told us maybe $15 billion deficit. She says $60 billion just in tourism. She's probably right. So how about instead we start with something as fun, as interesting as the Erie Canal? How about that? Now we start thinking, what else can we do? Well, I'm gonna go down a road that may sound awkward from just that. I'm gonna go down big. I'm gonna go from small to big. What if we not only did the Erie Canal, but we looked at all of the New York State land right now that we have, about 4 million square acres, give or take of it. And what if we decided, how can we lease that out to make a fund? Build a fund out from that. And with that fund, we decide that's how, with that fund, we make an investment fund just like Singapore does, just like Norway does. Lots of other countries, Saudi Arabia does it. Lots of countries do it. We create a fund that is not from taxpayers, no extra taxes. And that fund pays for Medicare and Medicaid at the county level. Imagine that. We do that, we create a surplus at the county level. Think about that. You could decide at the county level, do you want to fix your roads or not? Instead of what's happening now in our county, which is, how are we going to pay for everything? Right now, it's how are we going to pay for all the unfunded mandates that we have. So now, because there's nothing else that the counties can do, they decide to do the worst thing, which is use law enforcement as a profit center. Because there's nothing else to do. So we'll start writing more tickets. So we'll start finding more reasons to make you pay more money. So we'll start increasing our licensing fees for things. That's all we do. Am I mad at the counties for that? How can I be? I've given them no option. I've given them no option. I mandate what they have to pay. They don't have the money. I completely crush their small businesses. I don't let them grow, but they still have to pay. So what else can they do besides use law enforcement? You think cops are happy about that? You think cops like, boy, I joined the police force so I could become a profit center for the state. They didn't think that. They want to go get bad guys. What are they doing now? Giving you tickets. And now we saw what happened in New York State recently, right? Proposal number 2 passed. You saw that one?
Oh, that's great.
Oh yeah, for those of you who don't know, for those who aren't in New York State, if you're watching, we just passed Proposal 2, which says it is now a right in New York State for a healthful environment.
What's that?
What the hell does that mean? Well, here's what it does mean. It means that there is going to be a healthful police. That's what it means. There will be people who will have to inspect to see if your environment is healthful enough, whatever that means. And if it isn't, you're going to be fined. That is simply another way for people to use law enforcement as a profit center. That's what that was. And too many New Yorkers were like, sound healthful? That sounds amazing. I'll check yes on that. It's going to be healthful. No, what it's going to be is punishment. Because you know what's going to happen? I guarantee you this. There'll be people with uniforms and badges, because there's always badges. So there will be uniforms and badges, and they will go around punishing workers, punishing business owners, and probably punishing a bunch of institutions because it's not healthful. And of course, landlords and farmers. Oh yeah, and farmers too. They're gonna have it
coming into my house, telling me that my house is too dirty to live in.
Oh yes. You know what? You thought that you could use your wood burning stove? Well, that might not be healthful enough. So I guess I'm gonna have to go and inspect your stove. And if your stove isn't healthful enough, you're gonna have to pay me for that stove, aren't you? Now, how are you gonna pay for all these new people in uniform with badges? You're paying. Yeah, your fines and fees are gonna pay for that. That's correct. And here's the best part. What if you are a large landowner? It's happening now. People who are buying up all the houses and all the apartments, and you have, say, 1,000 or 2,000 units because you're wealthy, or you're part of some permanent capital piece, and they come in and say, we're going to fine you thousands of dollars. You have lawyers. You go to the state and go, I'm not paying you $1 million. I'm just not. I guess I'll see you in court, or I'll give you 15 grand and shut up. And the government will go, fine, to 15 grand. How do I know that? That's what happens now. Literally, it happens now. You think all those tickets that FedEx gets, they pay? I'm serious. FedEx gets millions of dollars of tickets every year. New York City. I live in New York City. Millions of dollars. You think FedEx goes, oh, here you go, millions of dollars. FedEx goes, how much I owe you? New York City says, you owe me $2 million. What if I give you like $250,000? Or see you in court. 250 is fine. They negotiate $250,000, there is done. But that's if you have 1,000 units. But what if you're the individual person who's got 2 units in your home, or 1 in your basement, or whatever you have? You have 1 or 2 units. And now they come by and fine you $500 and you can't afford it. You know what happens, right? That 500 becomes 600 and 750 and 1,000
That's by the end of the month.
and 2,000. And you're going to end up losing your house because you can't pay for a healthful note. So who's this going to punish? As always, the little guy. That's how it always works. It sounds amazing, and the little guy's punished. You have 500 units, you have 1,000 units, you'll be fine. You have 2 units, you're screwed. What if you're a Subway or you're a Pizza Hut and you get a bunch of healthful fines? The corporation steps in, right? These are big corporations. They step in and go, you're not charging our franchisees that kind of money. No, we'll sue you, see you in court, cut it down. And the government goes, okay. But what if you own this place? Lynn's Uptown Tavern. What if you own this place? You don't own 7 of the franchises. You're screwed. You're screwed. This will affect the little guy always. If you've seen what I've talked about constantly, I have 4 rules on all policies I create. Number 1, no new fines, fees, taxes, ever. You can clap if you want to for that, because that's clappable. Number 2, no enforcement or force, so there's no extra police with badges on this. Number 2. Number 3, I always look to support the entrepreneur class over the corporate class. Because the entrepreneur class is the class of people that give people a second chance. They're the ones who care about the local community. They come from local community. They're also the most innovative. They're the ones who make people grow. They're exciting. The youth join them. Our youth can stop leaving our state. They'll stay. The corporate's fine. They don't need me. They've already got lobbyists. They're good to go. They don't need my help. Entrepreneurs do. And last, when it comes to people, I always focus on supporting 2 types of people: the middle class and the working poor. These 2 people I focus on no matter what. Yes, thank you for that. Yes. You might say, but Larry, don't you care about the very poor? I do. But who helps the very poor? The middle class and the working poor. That's exactly right. Those are the people who actually help the very poor. They're the ones who show up at the soup kitchen. They're the ones who are at the actual events that help them. That's who actually shows up. Yeah, they're the ones who actually help them. Yeah. So I do help them by helping the middle class and the working poor. But the entrepreneur class too. I do this every time. Many of you have been to my events this whole time. I'll say, people say, Larry, why are you always at some diner? Why are you always at some local restaurant? Why are you always at some small brewery or at some local farm? Why are you always there? Because I have to support those places. Because they're important. Because they give people a second chance. Right? If you look at someone who's been in trouble, someone who maybe is a former felon, is a convicted felon, someone who maybe had an addiction problem and they have a resume that's broken because they've basically been out on the street for 2 years. Someone who maybe is divorced and they were at home and now their spouse has left them and they can't afford to deal with their child. They're a single parent. Maybe someone who their spouse passed away or died. Now they're in a bad spot. Whatever. Someone's in a bad spot. Someone's retired and spent their money trying to help their kid out, and now they don't have any money left. They want to go back to work to make some extra cash. Who's going to hire that person? It's not the corporations. They literally have systems in place to make sure those people are not helped, right? They go out of their way to not hire those people. It's the local person who says, you know what, I'll give you a shot. And this to me is personal also. Those of you who may or may not know, my mother was helped, and she had to get a second chance. And the only people who gave her a job were never the big corporations, because they had those you fill everything out, they do a background check, they found out she was a felon, they wouldn't hire her. It was the local small business that would give her a chance. But even with that, I was still bothered by that. Why did I go into entrepreneurship? Because my mom always felt like a hostage. She felt like she couldn't talk back to her bosses because if she lost her job, there was no job for her. She said she couldn't ask for a raise. She couldn't change anything. Because if she did, she'd be finished. So I said, you know what? I'm going to start a business. I'm going to start a trucking business. And I made my mom 100% owner. I didn't own it. No one else. 3 people in the business. She was 100% owner. And people said, why did you do that? Because if she's 100% owner, no one will ever fire my mother ever again. My mother would never be fired ever again. And she ran that business until she retired. Entrepreneurship is the answer. The ownership mindset is the answer to us becoming better, faster, stronger. That happens with the entrepreneurs, the working poor, and the middle class. And that's why I focus on trying to help them out. If we do that with all our policies, we'll have a better New York. We'll have a better country. We'll have a better community. Everything will be better if we do that right. Now, I would ask you, what other candidate, what other politician has talked to you about that? None, because they don't care. Here's what they say. That guy's bad. You got to vote for me. That's all they say. That guy's bad. Vote for me. Oh, no, that guy's bad. Vote for me. That's all they do. They yell about how the other guy is bad. Vote for them. I'm talking about, I don't care who's bad or who's good, because I'm not trying to hate the player. I hate the game. And I want to change the game to make better players. And we can do that if we try and we think that way and not, I'll just beat up the other guy. So why would I keep doing this? I think we have an actual chance at maybe making some real impact and maybe actually. For those of you who haven't heard, I brought this up in the last live. I'll bring it up again. I'm considering running a different way this time. Last time when I ran as a libertarian, happy I did. We did well. We raised $500,000. We got 6 figures in votes. We actually got people to make our ballot line an actual party in New York State. Then the next year, when I crossed the state again, helping out local candidates, we got 103 victories as libertarians in New York State. And the state said, whoa, no. That is not going to happen. We're going to strike up a pen and we're going to say no more libertarians. And it did. And we went away. This time, I'm gonna learn my lesson. And I want to run as libertarian still, but I want to take advantage of our fusion laws we have here in New York State. And I'm considering running also in the Republican primary. If I run, oh, claps, thank you. Yes, thank you. Not everybody is clapping about that. I'm glad you are, Rebecca, thank you, yes. But not everybody else is. But I'm considering doing this because if I run a Republican primary, I will still run as a libertarian. I'm a registered libertarian, doesn't change. That's the line I'm gonna get. But if I win that primary, I also get listed. I get listed twice on the ballot, also as a Republican. I'm listed as both Republican and Libertarian. And the odds are, because the Conservative Party tends to give their nomination to whoever the Republican is, the odds are I'll also get their Conservative line too. So I'll probably have 3 lines. So you might say, Larry, do you want 3 lines? I do, for several reasons. Number one, if I have the Republican line, not only do I get libertarian money and libertarian infrastructure, I also get Republican money and Republican infrastructure. IOC? No, absolutely, yes, you get it. Thank you. On my side. So yes, absolutely, you get all of those things. And it matters. We need infrastructure, we need money. You might go, Larry, why do you need so much money? I thought it's all about the ideas. It is about the ideas. It is. It is. But if no one hears my ideas, it doesn't matter. They have to hear my ideas, which means I have to have people talk about my ideas in the news, on TV, in the newspapers, in polls, all those things. How do I do that? Well, Larry, if you run a good campaign, they'll cover you. That's not true. Yeah, no. Everybody, you're laughing at that one, Bar. I love that. Bar's laughing at that. Yes, that's not how that works.
0.
That is correct.
Coverage.
0. Yes. For those of you who don't know, this actually happened. I asked them, why aren't you covering me? And they were very forward. They said, you don't buy ads. You have to buy ads. Oh, I laughed at that one. Yes. Couldn't believe that. Yes.
Oh, that's what happened. I called the local radio station.
Yep.
And instead of talking to the host, they put me in the advertising.
Correct. Yep. Yes. That's how that works. If you buy ads, you get covered. It is absolutely pay to play. So why do I need that money? So I can buy ads. So people can hear my messages. That's why. I went further. Why am I not in the polls? Why am I not in the polls? What's going on? I'm the nominee in 2018, right? I'm running a campaign. Why am I not in the polls? They were very forward. You don't buy the polls. Buy a poll, you're in the poll. How much do the polls cost? $40,000. And that was 2018. Who knows what it costs now? $40,000. So yeah, it does matter. I wish it was only ideas. It is ideas. It's just also money. So yeah, I'd like that. But there's a second piece of this. Second?
That's how they control it.
Yeah. Well, let me move one further. If this is a very, in case you guys didn't know, a very blue state. In case you were surprised to hear that. It's true. I know, I've shocked some of you. But it is true, yes. We are at least 2.5, if not 3 to 1, Democrat to Republican. And the state's getting bluer. This is happening. So me getting on those lines is wonderful, but probably not enough, because there are still a whole lot of Democrats who are going to go, wait a minute, he's on the Republican line. Oh, that means he's evil, and I can't vote for him, right? That's still going to happen with many Democrats, and I get that. So that's why I'm considering running in two other lines. One of them is the Unite line, which is a line that is a neutral line. It's basically an independent line that's focusing on three important things. Focusing on ballot access laws for people to get more people to get online. Focusing on open primaries, so you can, yes, that'd be awesome, absolutely. And focusing on ranked choice voting. Focus on those three things, which are very critical for us to move forward in this state and in this nation. So I'm also considering talking to Mr. Andrew Yang and his crew and seeing if he'll have me on his line. Some of you who may not know, Andrew Yang has left the Democratic Party and he is now independent, and he has a forward line, a forward party. Well, maybe he'll have me on his line. What's one of his important issues? Ranked choice voting, absolutely, yes, falls right in line, and ballot access and open primaries, he falls right in line. However, there's an addition to that. While Unite is very popular in the Hudson Valley and very popular in upstate New York, Yang is popular in New York City, and I will need New York City votes to make impact. And Yang, the forward party, will be a left-leaning party. So now I can get unhappy Democrats to look at me and hopefully vote for me, at least hear me. Is the establishment Democrat going to vote for me? Probably not. Probably not. That's reality. I hope many more will. If they hear me and hear my message, I hope they will. But the reality of it is many probably will not. But will an angry Democrat vote for me? Yeah. Yeah. Will an upset Democrat vote for me? Yeah. Particularly if I have a forward line. Of course they would. We do that, and this race now actually becomes winnable. This becomes an actual winnable race. You might go, wow, are you going to try to win? I tried to win last time. I ran as hard as I could last time, guys. And if you saw me, you know I did. You guys saw me. I was literally doing Facebook Lives on election day saying, you remember that, right, Rebecca? I was saying, come on out and vote for me. I ran until the end, the best as I possibly could run. I tried to win. Clearly, I couldn't, obviously. I will do it again. You see me out here yet again, trying my best to win. I will run to win. And if lightning strikes, I'm going to win. If it doesn't strike and I don't win, okay. What if I just come in second? Just second.
I'll take that.
Yes, because you know what will happen? Everyone will have to pay attention. They will have heard all of my ideas and stories. They will hear my plans, and they have to start actually working on them. They can't just go, don't do it, because someone's going to say, when they're going, other guy bad, someone's going to say, well, what about the Erie Canal? Well, what about treating farmers like small businesses? What about K through 10 school program? Remember all those plans I had? What about the New York coin? What about all those that I talked about? That's going to come up. And then they're going to want me on TV to talk about it. And now you have to talk about actual solutions. And you know what? If you don't like my solutions, I'm okay with that. Show me how I'm wrong, and I'll take your solutions. Some of you remember this when I was on Joe Rogan last time in 2018. At the end of the interview, he said, Larry, how'd you get these ideas? They're great. I said, well, me and my policy team put together. We made them. And that's how we got them. He goes, you better lock them down. I said, why? He said, people will take them. I said, take them. Fix the state. I can go back home. I don't got to do this anymore. I hope you take them all and fix the country. I'll walk away. I'll go back home. It's fine. Guess how many people took them? Nobody, because nobody wants to fix anything. So they don't. That's important. So I hope you see that what I'm trying to achieve and the way I'm trying to run is in the way that I learned from my last mistakes. Many of you are still with me. Thank you. Those are still with me. Yes, thank you. I haven't given up. I still think we can fix this state. And the most important thing, and this may sound a little bit hyperbolic, but I'm going to say it anyway because I believe it. There is a window in this nation for us to fix it. And the window is closing. You all feel it. Every one of you watching, and we're in this room, you feel it. We are more and more divisive, dividing more and deeper. We are not talking to each other anymore. The only way we fix this is a third party. Could it in theory be a Constitution Party or a Green Party or something? In theory, it could be those, but in practice, it cannot be. The only party that has any chance is the Libertarian Party. There's no other party that has any chance of making that third party. That's it. No other party. We are the only ones who can become the communicators, the bridge builders, and the healers. You may go, libertarians be healers? Yes. Yes. Because right now, if a Democrat crosses the aisle and talks to a Republican, they lose their seat. If a Republican crosses the aisle and talks to a Democrat, they lose their seat. But if they talk to libertarians, they don't. They don't. But Larry, how's this going to work if you become governor? I'll tell you how. I become governor. Magically, New York is saved. No, of course not. But here's what actually happens. A bunch of senators, state senators, become libertarian. Why would they? Why would a bunch of state senators in New York State become libertarians? Because if just 3 or 4 of them become libertarians, they would run the Senate. They'd be a swing vote. That's why. They would go from being 3 or 4 people who have no power whatsoever, who do nothing but go, yes, 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 as they do right now, or yell and scream at windmills, right, as they do right now, one or the other, to all of a sudden being able to control the Senate with a governor on their side. They would do it. How do I know that? They've already told me. That's how I know. A bunch of assembly people would also do it, but not enough, sadly. There are not enough assembly people who would do that, but a bunch would. So all of a sudden, we actually have some power, and we start talking back and forth. We begin to start having the conversations we should have to actually solve problems. And when there are 3 parties, when there are 3 groups, and I go, that guy's bad, you go, well, you're bad too, then they vote for you. I lose. I can't just go, that guy bad. I have to have an answer. And we can start that. I think it's the only hope. If we don't do this eventually, this country's really in trouble. Illinois is probably the first to go under, right? Illinois is in trouble. They're the first to go under. New York's right behind them. We're going to go under too. I mean, default. We just cannot survive. We can't fix anything. We can't raise money. We're going to just default. And it's bad, bad, and bad. And what default means is the federal government takes over our state. Yeah. How's that sound? How's that sound? It'll be official. They'll take us over officially. It'll be official. Yes.
Receivership.
Receivership is correct. That's what actually happened. It's a bad idea. Do I think I'm going to save the world? No. Do I think I'm going to set the foundation to have the world saved? Yes, I do. I think I can start that process. I think I can begin to build that foundation, and you guys can join me in saving this state. And as we save this state, we will save the nation. That's how it works. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you. Any questions or comments? I'm happy to take any questions or comments. Even if you're unhappy with my plan, I know some people are unhappy with my plan, and some are happy, but I'm happy to take any question or comment. Thank you for bringing a little one, by the way. Thank you. Nice, yes. No, I'm glad you had a choice of staying home, but you brought. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Go ahead, please.
How will you deal with the public worker unions, like correctional officer unions?
Yeah. Most of the public sector unions, most of the actual workers actually like me and support me. Most do, because I'm about giving them, being forward with them, and opening them up to let them know what's going on, worrying about their pensions, which some of them are in real trouble. So most of them do. Most of the administrators can't stand it, to be forward with you. So unions will be against me. The leadership of the unions will be against me. Most of them, they were last time and will be again. But every time I visited a prison and talked to the actual COs, the corrections officers, they all love me. You were there, you saw me. They love me. They're happy. When I told teachers, they love me. The individuals love me. The leadership does not. And I don't mind, because my whole goal is let these people do their jobs, right? When I spoke about teachers, you saw I had a shirt. It literally said, let teachers teach. I'm about getting rid of administrators and letting teachers teach. If you're an administrator in this state, you make over $200,000 a year. If you're a teacher, you make maybe 80, right? And there are districts now with more administrators than teachers. And they work in a building way over there, far from the kids. They don't even see the kids. That's true. If I'm governor, a lot of them are losing their jobs. That's true. I wouldn't like me either. I'm not mad at them for it. I wouldn't like me either. Teachers, you can get a whole lot more freedom. You can do a whole lot more you want to do. You get a whole lot more respect. And when teachers hear that, they go, I'm in. Corrections officers. What Democrats do right now with corrections officers say, you know what? Everything is your fault. They punish them. I'm not joking. Ask them. The average lifespan of a corrections officer in New York State, 58 years old. Every CO I met, every single one of them knew someone who committed suicide. Every one of them. There was not one who didn't. I said, I'll give you 100%. I'll sign you. By the way, they were 2 years, no contract. They went 2 years taking zeros because there was a clause in there allowing Governor Cuomo to punish them that they didn't want to sign. They finally surrendered and just let him have that clause. I'll remove the punishment clause. I don't want to punish COs. That's the wrong answer. I'm a business guy. You guys know this. I'm a business guy. If you want to fix something, the people on the ground are part of the solution, not part of the problem. Here's what I know about prison. I'm 100% sure of this. There are people in prison who should never get out. And there are people in prison who should do their time and should have a second chance at life like anybody else. And there are people in prison who shouldn't be in prison. I'm sure of that. What I'm not sure of is which one's which. I don't know that. But you know who probably does know that? The corrections officers who deal with them every day. They probably know that. They're dealing with them every day. They probably know. So you know who could help me with that? Probably corrections officers. So I want them to be part of the solution. So my deal with them was very simple. Vote for me. I'll remove the clause. You got to promise me you're going to help me fix our prisons because they're broken. They're broken from the correction side and the prisoner side. And the war on drugs is a disaster and bail reform is a disaster. It's all bad. It all has to be fixed. But I can't just punish them. That's not going to work. So to answer your question, the leadership is not going to like me. They're not going to vote for me. I got it. I don't need everyone to vote for me. I need more than the other guy. That's all I need. I need more than the other guy or guys or gals, whatever. More than the other people running. That's all I need. So some people aren't going to support me, and that's okay. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Yes. Any other question or comment? Yes.
The Unite line by Andrew Yang.
That's actually the forward line. Andrew Yang's line is the forward line.
Is that just the New York City thing?
No, it's not. He's actually building out a nationwide party.
Okay.
Hopefully we'll be talking soon, I hope. And I'll see if he wants to make that happen here in New York State. Because those of you who don't know it, who are watching, and some of you probably know, in New York State, the only way to get ballot access is that either a governor candidate or a presidential candidate. That's the only way in New York State. So he'll need a governor candidate for 2022 or a presidential candidate for 2024, one of the two. Otherwise, he can't become a party in our state. In other states, percentage matters. It doesn't matter what it's for, just percentage. In our state, specifically that. So that's why. So yes. Did I answer that question? Awesome. Any other questions or comments?
Another one.
Yes, please.
I don't want to hog all the time.
Hog the time.
So last time you ran, I begged my friends and family to not make the same mistake they've been making their whole lives.
Yep.
Doing exactly what so eloquently talked about tonight.
Yep.
Picking the lesser of two evils. And 1 out of probably 50 texted me back and said, I finally did the good deed.
Yes.
And they did that.
Yep.
Which was great. It's encouraging to hear that
Yep.
progress, but a vast majority just
Yep.
stuck with it. And then I was bitching about them on Facebook to see exactly what
Yes.
I told you was going to happen.
Yes.
Happened.
Yes.
Cuomo took away our ballot act.
Yep.
And you're stuck with the deed.
Yep. Correct.
So I'm wondering if you had any further advice on
Yep.
how we could talk in a way to our friends and family, get them to
Yes, and I'll be very clear. Another reason why I went to run a Republican primary is so Republicans actually hear my message. When Republicans actually hear my message, many of them like it. And if they feel like that I have hits of winning, they vote for me. Right? Many of them like it. There are some hardcore who don't. It's true. And most of those are the other grifters in the leadership class who just make money off the Republican leadership. They don't want me because, wait a minute, we can't keep stealing from Republicans, which is what they're doing, by the way. Which is what I tell them, look, if you're going to put money into the Republican Party for a statewide election, not a local election. Republicans win locally in New York State all the time. So a local election, that may be a very good investment for you, right? If you like Republicans and you like local elections, it may be a very good investment for you. But if you like Republicans and you want a statewide, Republicans haven't won any statewide election in 20 years. And the state's just getting bluer. In a statewide election is literally a waste of your time and money and energy. That's the wasted vote in a statewide election. It's not happening. It is a fantasy. It's not going to happen. The state's far too blue and getting bluer. But the Republican Party won't tell you that. They'll say, this is the chance. This is the time. This is the one. Believe. They'll say that lie. It is a lie, and they know it's a lie, and they will tell you anyway, you will give them your money, they are stealing your money because they know they can't win in a statewide election. They are telling you they can win. They're taking your money. And here's the worst part. When whoever they pick loses, they will just go away. They won't stay. They won't help. They won't try to fix anything. Nothing. Nothing. I lost, but you know what I did? I helped put together a lawsuit to allow comedy clubs to avoid the mandates. Yeah, that's what I did. That's not a lot, but I did something. What the Republicans do, what they did, cave. They collapsed. They bent the knee. I didn't, right? I was still talking about the Second Amendment. I was still talking about getting rid of the SAFE Act. I went publicly against red flag laws. What did they do? Nothing. Nothing. So if you actually want to vote for me and say I lose, you know what you get? Someone who won't shut up. You get someone who won't stop, who will be what Republicans should be and aren't. You get that if you support me. Or you can vote for them and you'll forget who ran last time. I'm not joking. You'll forget who ran last time because they won't ever come around. They'll make up some lie policy that you'll never see on a website ever again that doesn't make any sense, and then you never hear about it again. This is something some of you don't know. Since Al Gore, the 2000 election, consultants always tell their candidates, never put a detailed plan on your website ever. They tell them all the time, never do it, because then the other guy will just attack your plan and destroy it and beat you up on it. So it is grossly rare to ever find a politician with a detailed plan. Very rare. My website has white papers on it. Yes, and been up for 4 years. Where are the attacks on my plan? When I was running, who attacked my plan? Who remembers? Nobody. That's correct. Nobody. And my plans, I have detailed plans. I speak about them constantly. I did them openly. They're on my website. Attack them. I don't care. I hope you find a flaw. I'll change it and give you credit. I'll change it and give you credit. I'm not joking. If you read my white papers, my name's not on them. I give my policy team full credit. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you don't care who has credit. So my policy team gets full credit. I don't get any credit for it. I'm the mouthpiece. But they're the smart ones, right? So I let them have full credit. So I would tell them that. Do you want to vote for someone who's just going to go away? You can feel righteous. I voted Republican. I feel righteous while I call U-Haul to pack my stuff and leave. Or I can feel righteous while I watch my family and friends get to U-Haul and pack up and leave. Or I can vote for somebody who actually cares, who's still here, who's trying their best to make things happen. Does that make sense? And I'm entertaining. I mean, come on. And I'm fun. So that's something too. The E in Larry Sharpe does stand for entertaining. Just saying. So yeah. Did I answer your question?
Thank you.
Yes, good. Go ahead.
Do you think it helps that now people from the city are moving upstate just to get away from the city and they're actually buying the houses up here?
100% yes. This is a good thing for the state. It's a good thing for the state. I know it sounds, for some people who are upstate, you don't like it. I know. You're like, what? These city people coming up here?
Expensive.
Yes. And
spreading them across.
let me tell you why this is a good thing. And I know what you're feeling. I get the emotion behind it. I do. I know. Let me just tell you the reality. One of the reasons why the country has been going so far left recently is because of urbanization. That's been a big reason. There are many reasons why, but the biggest reason of all the reasons is urbanization. Since 2008, there's been virtually no recovery outside of cities, right? The suburbs and rural areas have had no recovery since 2008. They've been completely ignored. 80% of all new jobs since 2008 are in 20 U.S. cities. So people have been flocking to cities. One for opportunity. As people flock to cities, we live on top of each other, right? We live. There are counties. I know Yates County. What, 30,000 people in Yates County? 36.
26.
Oh, 26. So 26,000 people in Yates County, right? In 1 square mile of Manhattan, 60,000. 1 square mile. 60,000. In Hamilton County, it's our smallest county by population, there are more people in 10 blocks of Queens than the entire Hamilton County, right? Yes. So what I'm saying is things change. People live on top of each other. And you have someone who literally has been here 1 week and someone who's been here 50 years. The cultures mix. The languages mix. Everything mixes. We don't have a common culture. How do you talk? What are the rules? We don't know. So we beg for a referee. The referee, government. We beg for a referee for everything. We beg for a referee and they come. And when that begins to happen, we become more left. And people become more and more and more left. That's how it works. So if these people start moving out into suburbs and rural areas, the reverse should begin to happen. They should begin to respect some of the ways that people act and live outside of cities.
It should.
Well, it depends. If enough of them move out together, no. But if a few of them move out and now other people there embrace them, the community, things will change. That's the issue. If you alienate the new people who come in, they will simply ask for more of their own to come up, and you will get a block of blue in your red county. That's what will happen. If you embrace the people who come in, they will realize how nice and friendly you are. They'll become more like you, and you will have less blue in your county. That's how it will work. Say again? So it is a good thing. But here's the most important thing. Many of them who are coming up have money and lots of money. Yeah, you've seen it. Many of them do. If they have lots of money, you should be thinking, how do I get some of that money? I'm not joking. It is an amazing opportunity for growth and a renaissance in these more rural and suburban areas. You should be saying, what do these guys want? Maybe they want, I don't know, a yoga studio. I should open up a yoga studio and take some of that money that they want to spend so badly because they really want to spend it badly. So let them and put it back into your community. If you don't, they're going to spend it on Amazon or something like that. Spend it in your community. Provide the services they want. You can make some good money. Your kids will stay here. Your grandparents will stay here because they can all have a better environment, more money, a higher tax base. Life is better. All I'm saying is they're coming. Take advantage. If you're angry at them, they'll just bring more of their own and everyone will be angry. But they're coming up. Take advantage of it. There's an opportunity for you. Does that make sense at least? Great. Any other questions or comments? Guys, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you.